So really during this portion is the fun part of learning all about the elephants. Gonna have any questions, you'll be able to touch them, take your photos with them, see them go outside. That's all coming right up. But welcome, my name is Lou. I'm the Chief Executive Officer here at Myakka Elephant Ranch nonprofit. Our main goals are to raise money for elephant conservation, along with really educating the public on elephants. So thank you guys for being here, really helping to support us with that mission. The main thing we do with the public is kind of allow you guys to come out and help with the elephants' daily care. So we just got done with the elephant spa, where everybody took turns washing the elephants. So the reason we wash the elephants every day, water is very important for their skin. It moisturizes it, prevents cracking. They have to get a full bath at least once a day. This is their wash area. Behind the wall there, they have 3 large stalls, all weather protected, heaters, rubber mats, everything they need in the back. On the outside of that big door there is part of their outside habitat. A newer feature is their watering hole. So they've only had that for about 8 months now. Really starting to enjoy it on the warmer days. But their area continues around the building here to the end of the property, and then this left side of the property. Altogether, it's about the 7th largest elephant habitat in the United States. But we're constantly trying to expand. We're really trying to acquire that next piece of property to expand that way for them. And we just acquired 20 acres going towards the road, so we're currently fencing off some of that area for them, and we're raising funds to finish that project. But coming in first is going to be Lou. Lou's going to help us demonstrate some of the differences between the African elephant, the Asian elephant, and do a couple things for you guys. So we'll get her out here, and we'll start talking about her. Here she comes. So this is Lou. Lou is 39 years old. He's an African elephant. When you look at Lou, the easiest way to tell the difference from the African and the Asian is if you look at these big ears. So the African has a very large ear and is actually shaped like the continent of Africa. Now the Asian elephant has about half the size ear, shaped like the country of India. So you can always tell the difference right when you look at those ears. Also, the African has a high backbone on the back, where the Asian has more of a straight, flat back. You guys come on in and have a seat wherever you like. There's 2 aisleways there. Also high backbone on the back for the African, Asian more of a straight flat back. So the skin, totally different. So a lot more wrinkles on the African elephant. Now these wrinkles do serve a purpose. They break up the sun rays, keeps them cooler. The whole body is covered with a callus. Now the thick parts of the callus are on the top of the forehead up here and all along the top of the back. That callus kind of peels off each ear, and new callus grows right under it. But the main purpose for that is to help protect them from the sun and the insects. So in the wild in Africa, they could have to walk up to 40 miles a day to get to enough food, to get to enough water, so they're constantly exposed to that hot African sun. Now the Asian elephant, they have a lot smoother skin. They come from a cooler climate than the African. A lot more tree coverage. They don't need as much of that protection. Now this skin is very strong, very durable, but it is actually real sensitive. They can feel a mosquito bite, real sensitive to touch. People like to ask where the best place to touch the elephants is. Really anywhere. Great feeling throughout their whole body. But behind the ear is very important for an elephant. There's a lot of blood vessels behind the ear. When they fan their ears, it acts like a radiator and cools down the whole blood system. Elephants do not sweat, so the only other way they stay cool is by throwing mud, dirt, hay, water, whatever they can throw on their backs so they cool themselves off. But because this ear is so important to them, you might notice little holes in the ear, little rips throughout the ear, little notches missing. If they get a cut, a scratch that gets infected, they actually just dry that portion, drop it to the ground, eliminate it. They cannot afford for the infection to spread throughout the whole ear, and so the ear actually becomes the fingerprint for an elephant. All elephants have different ears. You'll notice big holes, big rips. Could even be a quarter of the ear missing. Very natural for them. Their hearing is great. Their ear canal is on the outside here. When they open those ears, they have giant sonars. So they can actually communicate miles apart from each other. They can do a high frequency pitch that we can't hear with our ears. It's like a silent whistle. They also rumble. So the rumbles where they send vibrations through the earth, and they can feel those vibrations miles away through their feet. They can do a loud squealy noise, loud yell, sometimes sounds like a human yelling. Also the trumpet. The trumpets, when they blow all the air through their nose, creates a trumpet sound. You only hear that when they're startled, they're trying to warn other elephants that there might be a threat, that's when you hear the trumpet. Her eyes are up front here. They kind of protrude a little bit, so she can almost see all the way behind her. Good vision up close. Anything on the ground, anything standing around her, pretty good vision. At a distance, though, it does start to get blurry for an elephant. Her tusk up front. These are her tusk, her ivory, her teeth on the outside of the body. So there's actually a nerve that runs down the center of the tusk. It stops about 4 to 5 inches from the tip here, and these tusks grow throughout their lifetime. Now they can break. That nerve could get exposed, it could get infected. If it does get infected, you have to come almost all the way up here to the eye to remove that whole tusk. Usually though, luckily it doesn't get infected. They'll just continue to grow. They can grow all different ways. So sometimes they cross, they go right, left, down, up. Sometimes they grow straight on some elephants. So these teeth can grow differently on the outside of the body.
That's what she's trying to get the trees.
The African female, like Lou, does have pretty big tusk, ivory. The Asian female, very small ivory. You can only see it when you pick up their lips, little pieces under there. That's normal for the female Asian. But the males, the bulls, they have the dominant tusk, about 2-3 times as thick, some up to 14 feet long on some of the males. Huge ivory on the males. All right, her trunk up front. This is her trunk, her nose, her hand. So probably the most important part of the body for an elephant. She actually has 2 fingers at the bottom of that trunk, and she can pick up a dime with the 2 fingers. Asian elephants a little different. They just have 1 finger and a palm, so it kind of curls its foot in more. But this trunk is made of all muscle, over 100,000 muscles in the trunk. Now muscle breaks into another muscle fibers go all the way down, so it can expand or retract like an accordion, but also very strong. With that trunk alone, they can pick up 300 to 700 pounds of weight. If they use their tusks or ivory to help, they can lift up to 1,000 pounds. A lot of capacity to lift. Lou's going to give you a slight example of how she uses those fingers to pick up an object. We have a couple treats for her, and we'll see how the fingers work.
One of these, only one, right here. Stand right here. Stand right here, and you can just kind of hold it up for her. She's going to take it right from you.
Okay, let's see how she gets her apple. See how she gets her apple.
Good job. You did good.
What is her name, Elena?
Alright guys, let's see if she gets her other apple. Excellent with those 2 fingers. She can actually pick up a single blade of grass. Some days with the apple, she'll pick it up just by the stem. I'm going to talk a little bit now about elephant conservation. So a couple years ago now, I was able to go to the International Elephant Foundation for their annual Conservation and Research Symposium in South Africa. So it was a week-long event. I got to meet with researchers, elephant conservationists from all over the world. So really got to learn a lot. Now, unfortunately, the elephant population is in a big decline. In 1930, there were over 10 million elephants roaming Africa. Today, it's about 350 to 400,000 of the African elephants left. The Asian elephant is far more endangered. There's only about 40,000 of the Asian elephants left. The main reason for that is all the poaching that's going on for their ivory. They're saying almost 100 a day are going down from the poaching alone in Africa. The human-elephant conflict, the loss of habitat, or there are other major issues. So we partnered with the International Elephant Foundation, devoting a portion of our proceeds to go directly to them. Right now we're working on building anti-poaching ranger stations in Uganda and a couple projects with the Sumatran Asian elephant. So real excited about those partnerships. Hopefully they make a bit of a difference. By you guys being here, you are helping to support elephant conservation, along with really supporting our 3 elephants year-round. Anything you guys get in the gift shop, any donations, does go directly to helping elephants. Like I was saying earlier, we're working on expanding their outside area, another 5 acres. So any donations right now are going to go directly to finishing that project. All right, next up, we're going to bring Carol out. Carol's really going to show you those differences because she's an Asian elephant. So we'll get Carol out here, and we'll start talking about her. And Lou knows when I say that, she moves over to this side. It helps that there's fresh treats over there. So here comes Carol. Carol is 50 years old. She's an Asian elephant. When you look at Carol, you really can start to notice all those big differences. So a lot smaller ears, a total different backbone, total different
Wow,
skin.
I never noticed
Carol
those
actually has
huge
two big
differences.
humps on the top of her head, where Lou has more of a round head. So the Asian elephant is actually more related to the woolly mammoth than they are to the African elephant. Totally separate species. You notice a lot of freckles on the front of her face, on her ears. These freckles are called depigmentation, and it's a characteristic of the mainland Asian elephant. So there are 4 different subspecies for the Asian elephant, and one of the ways you can tell them apart is which ones have these freckles. Now the African elephant has 2 total separate species. The forest African elephant, and like Lou, the savanna African elephant. Now the forest elephant tends to be a lot smaller. They kind of hold their heads down. They could have straight ivory. With the savanna elephant, actually the biggest elephant. But one more thing with Carol here, she does have tusked ivory, but they're very small. You can only see it if I pick up her lip here, little pieces of ivory. I'll try to show you guys on this side. Little pieces. So that's normal for the female Asian elephant. The males, the bulls, they have the huge ivory, and then also the female Africans have pretty big ivory. We're going to talk a little bit now about our community outreach program. So 10% of our experiences are donated directly back into the community. Either a nonprofit group, handicap group, we do a veterans elephant yoga about once a month. So you guys being here does also help support our community outreach programs. All right, I'm going to turn you over to my dad so he can answer any questions for you guys.
All right, anything you wanted to know about elephants? Any questions about elephants? Yes. A breeding age for an elephant is up to 30 years old, never had a calf, 33 or so if you've had a calf. After that, it is dangerous for them to get pregnant. So these guys are beyond that age. It would be too dangerous to try to get these guys pregnant. Nowadays, artificial insemination has really taken off with elephants. Germany developed a way to freeze it, so we got more leeway. So in the future, if we get some younger females, if we don't even have a bull here, we did build a new facility over here on your right to hold a bull elephant, but we can do it either way, artificial insemination or bull elephant. So in the future, we hope to be able to have some birth here. All right, another question?
How long do they live?
Average age for an elephant on the books, 50 to 70 years.
Wow.
In all reality, the African, 50 years old, start worrying, really getting up there in that age for an African. The Asian, 60 years old. So the Asian does have a longer lifespan than the African. Oldest Asian on record, 86, and for the African, 83.
Wow.
So they can live a long time, stay healthy, live a long time. Live a long time. Yes. Lou here originated from Zimbabwe, country north of South Africa. A year and a half old, transported by ship into Miami.
Year and a half
And we
old.
picked her up there in 86. So we had her since she was a year and a half old. Back in the late 70s, 80s, governments in Africa measured rainfall, how much vegetation, maintain all these different herds of elephants. They would take families of elephants completely down, left the babies back then as orphans, and that's what they would sell to Europe, South America, and the United States. So that's when the majority of the Africans came in. The Asian elephant first put on an endangered species, then they put the African on an endangered species. Illegal to sell or trade ivory. Carol, Patty coming out shortly, originated from Thailand. They came over when they were a year old. They were born in a farm, elephant breeding farm, so they were born in captivity. They've been with the same family up to 5 years ago now, and we acquired them to make them part of Lou's family. So all 3 originated from the homeland, all 3 elephants. Another question? Yes. The goal is to get more, but nowadays getting more and more difficult. There's just not a lot of elephants in the United States. The majority are these guys' age, so they're beyond breeding. And as far as coming from Asia or Africa, very difficult nowadays to bring them over. But we are in the future going to get some other ones. Yes. Yes. How many do we have to have? Right now we have 3 girls, 3 females. The facility right now could hold 10 elephants with no problem. Yeah, 10 elephants. Anything else? Yes. Elephants are endangered, especially the Asian elephant. There's only 40,000 or so left of the Asian elephant. Half of those are actually privately owned and the other half are still wild. But the wild forests in Asia are running out, so the elephant really has no room to grow. The African, 350,000 Africans left. 20th century, over 2 million African elephants. So their numbers are going down too. So they're not as endangered as the Asian, but they were put on the endangered to stop the poaching going on.
They're just like me, they continue
Yes,
to
up
eat.
there?
Is it true that they were sad during the pandemic when people weren't coming? I heard that on
That they were what now?
they were sad or they missed the people coming to see them during the pandemic.
They weren't so sad, they were just missing the extra attention. I mean, they were just seeing us over and over again. This way they get to interact with other people. But yeah, behind this whole wall here, there's 3 individual stalls. All made solid, strong. The roof is all steel, so nothing can hurt those stalls. So during a hurricane, they were in their stalls, eating, perfectly comfortable. The only thing that will startle an elephant is a new object or something they've never heard. To them, that is a threat. So to them, a storm is
Lou
just a
doesn't
storm.
like
They've
his
never
food.
been hit by lightning. They've never been
Or
hit
her
by
food, I mean.
any flying object. Plenty of hay over here, and you're stealing her hay. Plenty of hay. All right, another question? Yes. Bite. No, elephants in general do not bite. I mean, they're in a major battle, they might use their mouth to bite, but in general, no, elephants do not bite. Now, they do have teeth inside their mouth. 4 of them. Top, bottom. They're 12 inches long, 2 inches wide. Giant molars. They get 4 to 6 sets of these teeth throughout their lifetime. In the wild, when they lose the last set of teeth, they'll pass away of starvation. So they've got to chew the food to get the nutrients out of it. Got to chew it. All right, another question? Yes.
Oh, now look, she's gonna go steal from food. She's gonna go steal over here. She can't.
Elephants, all different personalities with elephants. All of them are so smart, so intelligent, that they have their own personality. You have your problem child, and you have your matriarch. Lou here is the matriarch. Carol here is our problem child. She likes a lot of attention, just needs a lot. The way it works with elephants, all elephants are dominated by a matriarch. A matriarch, an older female, very strong, very intelligent, controls a family group of elephants. In the wild could be 75 elephants in this family group. The bull elephants are only allowed in the family group no older than 15. They're actually chased away from the family group, live by themselves among other males, and then they will come into a cycle called musk. For a month, 60 days, they're unhandleable, fear nothing, come back into the group of females, dominate, pick their mates, mate, go away, and the process continues this way. So whenever you see a group of elephants, usually always females. Adult males, too dangerous when they come into cycle. In our case, Lou, the matriarch, Carol and Patty, followers, they all get along because of the matriarch. No matriarch, chaos. Chaos. All right, another question? Yes. The Asian elephant will show a lot more excitement as far as greeting. The African is kind of more domesticated, kind of more to themselves, so they'll just kind of smell you and hello, okay, that's you. The Asians will show a lot more affection. But yeah, they do show affection when they see you. All right, another. All right, this is Patty, guys. Patty's also 50 years old, also an Asian elephant. And she's a lot taller, slimmer, totally different body shape than Carol. All right, another question? Yes. These guys were not rescued. The history of them, Lou here 10 years ago with her and our other Africans retired from doing just about everything. Birthday parties, weddings, documentaries, theme parks, state fairs with the educational program. circuses, opera, Miami Metro Zoo 1 year with the educational program. I mean, on and on and on. Retired from that 10 years ago. Carol and Patty did almost the same. 5 years ago, retired them from that. All right, anything else?
I like the color of the ears. I like the color of
Yes.
this one.
What made you get into elephant conservation?
As far as the elephant conservation, my son and daughter, they both went off, got their degrees. My son marketing, my daughter hospitality business, and then they both came back wanting to be with the elephants. So this is really their thing. They started this. My son already is on the board of the International Elephant. So a lot of good is coming out of Myakka Elephant Ranch. By you being here last year alone, $52,000 was given to the International Foundation. We're starting a new program too. Overseas, there's a gentleman that goes around helping elephants everywhere, and we're going to be funding that, and we're going to be stretched out even ourselves helping elephants around the world. So,
Look.
by you being here is really supporting, but the main people for this is my son and
Trying to
daughter.
cause
They're really the
trouble.
ones,
Trying to be
needed
mischievous.
to do this. All right, anything else? Yes. The big bump, okay, rib cage is right up here. All rib cage up there, from up there, all the way down is belly. So she's holding a tiny bit of gas. But yeah, it's all belly from the top down. Huge belly on elephant. Yes. We did have 2 bulls here at one time, but they started coming of age. Our matriarch, Nakia, got very rough with them. At that time, we didn't have the right facility to be able to keep them. So they went to a place in Arkansas for males. Nowadays, like I said, over here on your right, we built that strong for a bull elephant. So if we ever do get one, he would be able to live over in that side. You just got to keep them separated. When they come into cycle, they get a little bit pushy and kind of a little mean. So you got to keep them separate. All right, anything else? Yes. They can live without their tusks. The tusks go almost all the way up to the eye here. So if you were to cut it, I mean, you could cut it all the way up here. Most likely it would not get infected, and it will keep growing. The nerve will go back and it'll keep growing again, but they can live without their ivory. In the wild Asia and Africa, because of all the tuskers being taken down, they're removing that big gene pool of ivory. Some elephants in Asia are being born without ivory, and in Africa, also some Africans without ivory. That gene pool is going away because of the poaching going on, the big ivory. But they can live without it.
Gotta get
No
her
problem.
in.
All right, anything else? Yes. Favorite food, as far as fruit, watermelon. They love the watermelon. It's so juicy and everything. But they love apples, carrots, oranges, anything that tastes good, they like. If it don't taste good, they'll throw it out. Strawberries, they'll eat a couple of them, and for some reason, they don't like strawberries. So just leave them on the ground. Peanuts, raw peanuts, a little bit, throw them back. Salted, roasted peanuts all day long.